The icy wind swept across the quiet parking lot of Ridgewood Animal Haven as dusk settled over the town. Volunteers were preparing to close when a rusted white van lurched into the driveway, its headlights flickering before the engine sputtered off. A man stepped out, his hands trembling as he opened the back door. And that was when they saw her, a frail German shepherd curled on a torn blanket, ribs visible, fur matted with dirt and rain. Her amber eyes locked with theirs, filled with pain, and something deeper. A plea. I share news stories here every day, and I would really appreciate it if you hit subscribe and liked my video. Now let's jump back into my story. I am sure you love it, if you keep listening till the end. And tell me which part of the world you are watching this story from, because I am very interested to know how far away this story travels. She wouldn't move, the man whispered shakily. Found her by the old highway. I think she's pregnant. Marina Dawson, the shelter supervisor, didn't hesitate. Get a stretcher now. And someone called Dr. Rowan. The volunteers hurried over, gently lifting the trembling dog. A faint whimper escaped her. A sound so soft, yet so raw, it made even the toughest worker stop breathing for a moment. Inside the small medical room, the smell of antiseptic mixed with the tension in the air. Dr. Elias Rowan, the shelter's veterinarian, rushed in moments later. He knelt beside the weakened shepherd and placed a hand on her head. "Easy, girl," he murmured. "You're safe now." The dog's ears flicked weakly. Her breathing was shallow, almost forced. Elias examined her, quickly malnourished, dehydrated, dangerously close to collapse. "She's been through hell," he muttered. Marina placed a blanket over her gently. "We'll call her Faith," she whispered. "Because after everything she survived, she's still holding on." For several hours, volunteers worked tirelessly. Warm fluids, blankets, soft voices. And for the first time since arriving, Faith closed her eyes, not in fear, but in relief. But as peaceful as the room appeared, something about her felt different. That night, the shelter grew unusually quiet. Faith lay motionless, staring at the door as if waiting for someone. Or something. Marina checked her repeatedly, whispering encouragement. But Faith didn't touch her food or water. "She's alert," Marina said softly the next morning, watching her pace in slow, trembling circles. "Almost like she's guarding something." Elias crouched beside the kennel. "Maybe trauma," he murmured. "Or maternal instinct kicking in early." But Faith didn't respond like other pregnant rescues. When volunteers attempted to clean her blankets, she positioned herself in front of a seemingly empty corner, growling low, refusing to let them near. "She acts like she already has puppies," one volunteer said. As night fell again, strange things began to happen. The security camera above Faith's enclosure flickered. The footage glitched. For 1 second, Faith appeared, pacing anxiously, before suddenly freezing, ears perked, posture rigid. She stared at the hallway as if she saw something the camera didn't. "What is she looking at?" Marina whispered as she reviewed the footage. No answer came. By dawn, Faith had eaten nothing, slept barely at all, and her eyes, sharp, glowing faintly gold in the low light, never left the door. "She's waiting," Elias murmured. But for what? Then, that evening, thunder cracked across the sky. Rain hammered the shelter roof. Winds howled wildly through the vents, and Faith suddenly began panting heavily. "Elias?" Marina shouted, rushing into the room. He took one look, and his expression tightened. "She's going into labor." Lightning illuminated Faith's trembling body as the first contraction hit. And within minutes, Elias realized something was very, very wrong. The shapes emerging. The fur texture. The weight of the newborns. "These aren't normal puppies," he whispered. Asterix's Faith lay trembling on the medical table as the storm raged outside. Lightning flashed through the small windows, throwing ghostly shadows across the room. Marina held her gently, whispering soothing words as each contraction tore through the exhausted dog's body. Dr. Elias Rowan worked quickly, his brows knitted in concentration. "You've got this, Faith," Marina murmured. "We're right here." Finally, a small, slick form emerged, but the moment Elias lifted it with a towel, his face went pale. This isn't right," he whispered. Marina stepped closer. The newborn was heavier than any puppy she'd ever seen. Its fur was short and charcoal gray, its limbs unusually thick, and its breathing slow. Too slow. "What's wrong with it?" Marina breathed. Before Elias could answer, Faith let out another strained cry. Another newborn arrived. Then another. All identical, none resembling typical pups. A flash of lightning lit the room, and Marina gasped. "Elias?" "Look at their eyes." For a brief second, the newborn in his hands opened its lids. A faint, eerie blue glow flickered inside. "That's impossible," Elias whispered. "Puppies can't open their eyes this early, let alone..." He stopped, unable to process the abnormality. Faith whined softly, curling protectively around her strange litter. Even in her weakened state, she nuzzled them with instinctive love. Marina wiped her face, tears mixing with sweat. "What are they?" Elias didn't answer. He carefully placed the newborns beneath a warming lamp and examined one closer. Its tiny chest rose and fell, but the rhythm was unnatural, most synchronized with the others. He brushed a finger over its neck and froze. "Marina, come here." She stepped forward, dread rising in her chest. What is that? Barely visible under the fur was a symmetrical scar smole, precise, surgical. "No," Marina whispered. "You don't think I don't want to," Elias muttered, "but I've seen marks like this before. Years ago. In the research district." Marina's stomach twisted. "Those labs were shut down, Elias." "Were they?" he said quietly. "Or did their failures just disappear?" Another newborn let out a strange, low squeak, not a whimper, not a bark. Marina flinched. Faith growled softly, placing herself between Elias and her litter. "She's scared," Marina whispered. "She knows something is wrong." Elias stepped back slowly. "Faith, it's okay. We're trying to help." But Faith wasn't listening. Her breathing was rapid, eyes wide, instincts screaming. She nudged each newborn into a tighter circle, protective, trembling. "We can't move them," Elias said. "Not until I run tests, blood work, x-rays, something." Faith's growl deepened as if she understood. Marina placed a hand on Elias's arm. "If those scars came from a lab, they're not just puppies, are they?" He swallowed hard. "No, they're hybrids, genetically altered. Someone created them. Someone wanted something from them." A loud crack of thunder shook the room. Faith jumped, barking sharply. The newborns responded in a way neither Marina nor Elias could explain. They shifted every one of them simultaneously, a synchronized, unnatural movement. "What was that?" Marina gasped. Elias stepped back, heart pounding. "Something's wrong with them. Something we were never supposed to see." Faith pressed her body over them, trembling violently. Marina touched Elias's shoulder. "What do we do?" she whispered. He didn't blink. "We protect her. And we find out who did this." But outside, in the storm-drenched darkness, someone or something was already watching the shelter, waiting. The next morning arrived with a heavy sky and an even heavier silence hanging over Ridgewood Animal Haven. The storm had passed, but the unease inside the shelter only intensified. Rumors spread fast. Volunteers whispered behind closed doors, avoiding the isolation wing where Faith and her strange litter were kept under watch. Marina stood by the coffee machine, clutching a mug she hadn't touched. Two volunteers murmured nervously nearby. I heard their eyes glowed. One whispered, "And I heard they don't cry or make normal sounds." The other replied, "It's wrong. All of it." Marina turned sharply. "They're just babies," she snapped. "They didn't choose to be born like this. But what if they're dangerous?" The younger volunteer asked quietly. "What if that's enough?" Marina cut in, though her own chest trembled with the same unspoken fear. Dr. Elias Rowan paced inside the isolation wing. Faith lay curled around her pups, her breathing steadier, but her body still tense. Her amber eyes followed his every movement. "She's calmer today," Marina whispered as she entered behind him. "She's alert," Elias corrected, "but not aggressive. She's watching." He moved to the incubator where he had placed two pups for observation. One of them stared blankly from within, chest rising slowly, unnaturally. Marina shuddered. "They don't act alive, not the way puppies should." "They're alive," Elias murmured, "but they're not natural. These scars, the synchronized breathing, the glowing eyes, someone engineered them." Faith growled softly at the mention of the word engineered, as if the memory of pain echoed somewhere deep inside her. Elias placed a hand against her kennel, speaking gently. "I don't know what they did to you, girl, but I swear we'll figure this out." Before they could continue, the shelter phone rang sharply, cutting through the quiet. Marina hurried out to answer it. Seconds later, she returned, pale as chalk. "Elias, someone reported us." His spine stiffened. "Reported what?" "The birth. The pups, everything." Her voice trembled. "They said they're sending a team." Elias felt the blood drain from his face. "Who?" Before Marina could respond, the sound of engines rumbled outside. Multiple loud. They rushed toward the front of the shelter. Through the rain-splattered windows, large black vans rolled up. Men in dark tactical uniforms stepped out, the insignia embroidered on their shoulders unmistakable. Biosecurity, Unique Dept. Of Agri-Biotech Afafia. Marina felt her stomach drop. Oh God, they know. The leader, a stern man with a rigid posture and cold voice, stepped forward. "Dr. Elias Rowan," he announced. "I'm Agent Kieran Locke. We received an anonymous tip regarding an unregistered genetically altered birth. We're here to secure the specimens. You can't just take them." Marina protested, her voice shaking. Agent Locke didn't blink. "That depends on what we find." The team strode into the shelter, ignoring the frantic protests from staff. Elias hurried ahead of them toward the isolation wing. "Please, listen," he said urgently. "The mother is traumatized. She'll react if you..." Before he could finish, the agents reached Faith's room. The moment the door opened, Faith shot to her feet, baring her teeth. Her pups whimpered weakly beneath her. "She's defensive," one agent muttered. Prepare said, "No." Elias shouted, "She's protecting her young, that's all." Agent Locke raised a hand. "Step aside, Doctor." "I won't," Elias said, heart pounding. Sedating her could kill her. Faith's bark echoed like thunder, shaking the walls. She lunged not to attack, but to shield her babies, placing her trembling body between them and the intruders. A dart gun clicked. Faith growled, louder. Marina grabbed Elias's arm. "Elias," she whispered, her voice cracking. "They're going to take them." He stared at Faith's a broken mother fighting an entire system, and something inside him snapped. "No," he said. "Not while I'm breathing." He stepped forward. Blocking the agent's aim, the room froze, and then chaos. The isolation wing erupted into chaos as Faith lunged forward, not to attack, but to shield her strange newborns from the men closing in. Her bark thundered through the room, raw, terrified, maternal. The agent staggered back for a moment, startled by the power of her desperation. "Sedate her now." Agent Kieran Locke barked. "Don't." Elias shouted, stepping directly between the rifles and Faith. "You'll kill her. She's weak." Faith trembled, her body low, her eyes blazing with fear. Marina rushed forward too, her voice shaking. "She's just a mother protecting her children. Put the guns down." One of the agents panicked. A dart fired missed by inches and struck the wall with a thud. Faith barked again, louder this time, and the sudden noise sent a tray of instruments clattering to the floor. The metallic crash echoed like an alarm, and in that heartbeat of confusion, Faith grabbed one of her pups gently by the scruff and bolted toward the emergency. "Exit door, she's getting away." An agent shouted, "No, let her run." Elias snapped. But the order wasn't his to give. Agent Locke motioned forward. "Pursue her now." Marina bolted after Elias as he sprinted through the corridor. The shelter doors burst open, revealing Faith racing into the rain-soaked night. Thunder rolled again as she slipped under the fence, her pup still dangling safely from her jaws. "She's heading for the forest." Marina cried. "She's done this before." Elias murmured breathlessly. "She knows how to hide." The agents scanned the grounds with spotlights and thermal cameras. Cold beams cut through the rain. But Elias knew Faith had already vanished into the darkness hours past. The forest swallowed the night and the storm softened to a misty drizzle. Elias and Marina pushed through the mud, flashlights sweeping between trees. "She can't keep running," Marina whispered. "Not in this condition." Elias nodded. "We just have to find her before they do." A faint sound broke the quiet. A whimper. Elias froze. "Did you hear that?" They followed the soft cries until they reached an old fallen oak. Under the tangled roots lay Faith, soaked, trembling. Her remaining pups curled weakly beside her. One pup lay motionless. Marina gasped, covering her mouth. "Oh, Faith." Faith lifted her head slowly when she saw them. No growl, no fear, only exhaustion. And Hope. Elias knelt beside her. "Faith, you're safe. Let me help." The trees rustled sharply behind them. Voices? Radios. The agents were close. Faith's ears twitched. She nudged the smallest surviving pup toward Elias with her nose. Another act of trust. Another surrender of faith. Elias gently lifted the pup, his eyes stinging. "You brave, brave girl." Marina touched his shoulder. "Elias, we don't have time." They could already see the flashlight beams appearing between the trees. Elias reached into his coat pocket. Inside was the metallic microchip he had extracted earlier, the final piece connecting Faith and her babies to Project E9. Without hesitation, Elise tossed it into the rushing creek beside them. The chip vanished beneath the water. Marina stared at him. "Elias, what did you?" "I erased her trail," he said, voice shaking. "If they can't trace the chip, they can't prove anything." The agents burst into the clearing moments later. Agent Locke glared. "Where is she?" "She didn't make it," Elias said firmly, meeting his eyes. The storm, the run, it was too much. Locke studied him, suspicious. But the forest was silent. And Faith was hidden behind the roots, barely breathing, unseen. After a long, tense moment, Locke signaled his team, "Pull back. We're done here." The agents disappeared into the trees. Elias waited until their footsteps were gone. Then he whispered softly, "Go, Faith. Take your babies and run. This world tried to break you. Don't ever let it again." Faith rose shakily, nuzzling Elias's hand one last time before disappearing into the mist with her pups. Weeks passed. The shelter returned to normal. But Elias often stood at the forest's edge, waiting. Sometimes he found paw prints. Sometimes food he left disappeared, and once on a quiet morning he heard a bark echo through the trees, strong, proud. Free Marina joined him, smiling softly. "She made it." "She did," Elias whispered. "And she's no monster. She's a miracle." And though the world would never know her story, they would tell it for her, a story of survival, courage, and a mother's unbreakable love. Thanks for watching till the end. Have a nice day.